Hello and welcome into tonight's CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. I'm your host, Nick Qualia, sitting here with Mike Molyneux and with Marv per usual. Guys, we've got some news regarding coronavirus in the NFL. So, Texas, I don't really know what's going on in Texas with coronavirus. I just remember like maybe a month ago, Texas just decided coronavirus was no longer a thing. It was something we just didn't have to worry about. And now, listen, we're not here to talk the politics of coronavirus, but now we got cases going up. I've got a buddy down in Texas right now who actually tested positive the other day for it. And today, we're recording Monday, June 15th. Several players from the Texans and from the Cowboys have tested positive, one including Ezekiel Elliot, who tweeted out HIPAA. So somebody leaked that Ezekiel Elliot is one of the guys who tested positive for coronavirus. So with this now becoming more of a reality, because we knew that players could end up getting it, and now that there are several players who have it who are on the Cowboys and who are on the Texans, guys, you got to look at the NFL season. It's only 3-4 weeks away until camp technically was supposed to open up or should be opening up, and then the season obviously starts in September. And August 6th, I believe, is the Hall of Fame game. So the season, it's June 15th. The season's coming up quick. Guys, is the NFL going to be able to have a regular season like they planned on doing? Like they kind of plan on just going into it, and their aim is just to do their normal season. But are they going to be able to have a season if they don't adapt something like what the NBA is trying to do, most likely doing with the bubble city plan that they've got going on? Guys, that's the question right there. Is the NFL going to be able to move forward without doing something like what the NBA is doing? Marv, we'll start with you. What do you think?
Yeah, so the NFL first came out and they had, like you were saying, Nick, the Texas mindset. Oh, this thing does no longer exist. We're gonna go full throttle. We're gonna have fans. Everything's gonna go business as usual.
They just decided it was gone, like a poof.
and I was shocked. I remember, and this is NFL came out with this statement. Right in the midst of everything going on, when they said, "Hey, we don't care what's about to happen. The NFL is going to continue moving on business as usual." We saw that they had the draft and so forth. All they did was cancel the mini camps. With this report coming out, and especially having a superstar catching COVID-19 this late into off season per se, NFL is going to have to change a lot of things up, and it's going to jeopardize the season, I think, because now you're going to have to adapt something like the NBA is doing, where you keep everybody bundled up, because you can't have players catch COVID during a game or something like that and then go home to their families with it. That's the issue. Because the players may be okay, but you don't know who they're going home with, who they're interacting outside of the games, and what issues that can resolve in. So it just becomes a huge mess. And then you're talking about teams that carry 52 plus players, coaches, equipment staff. Like, NFL is such a big business that we thought NBA was bad. It could spread like fire when it comes to the NFL. And I'm really having a hard time wrapping my head around how they're going to have this season, let alone being all stuck in one spot. Maybe they can have maybe 3 states, one in the East Coast, one in the Mid Coast, and one in the West, where they all play. But it's even that right now seems very hard to wrap my head around. With COVID-19, still the numbers are going higher. People have to open up businesses eventually, and before the economy crashes totally. So I don't know what they're going to do, man.
Right, and that's the biggest concern, is the amount of people who play football at one time. And it's not like okay, MLB, obviously you're not touching each other much. The NHL you are, NBA you are too. But nothing is like the NFL, where it's just a full contact game. So COVID, everything changes with it, right? We've been told a million things, masks, no masks, whatever. But we just know how quickly this thing spreads and how easily this thing spreads, right? If one guy slips through the cracks and somehow passes the test when he actually does have it, next thing you know, he's touching all of these guys, and maybe 7, 8 people, and that might be on the lighter side, who didn't have coronavirus going into the game, contract coronavirus because somebody slipped through the cracks. It just, I don't know. It doesn't seem too feasible. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah. This news coming out about everything that's going on in Texas with the Texans and the Cowboys, for a minute, I think we all probably felt, oh, NFL season's looking good. Oh, yeah, we've had fantasy football conversations. You thinking everything is going to be right on par. Time is going to be on point, and NFL is just going to come around like it usually does after all these years. But the reality of the situation is COVID-19 is still out there. And prominent players, Ezekiel Elliot, he has the virus. And everything you guys just said is so true, which in turn, I think definitely puts the NFL season in jeopardy. Like, the NFL is going to have to come up with something similar to what the NBA is doing, because the current plan of just rolling through, regular like they planned on doing it, it's not going to work. I know the talk was, we plan on having fans back, nah, it's not going to work. We're planning on
no way the fans are coming back.
We plan on just opening up training camp and facilities and what something has to change, NFL. And I don't know if they, in the process of coming out and saying everything's just going to be regular, I don't know if they had people behind the scenes, possibly working on alternative situations. If it's not the case, I really hope they did, because if their mindset was just to go with everything regular, it's not going to work. So Roger Goodell and his team, those people, they need to put plans in motion on what they're going to do if they want an NFL season to happen. What's the alternative actions that need to take place to try to keep players, staff, coaches, try to keep everybody safe, because this thing is still real. And, with the news coming out about Ezekiel Elliot and in Texas, it's right there in our faces for sure.
And that's what it seems like. It seems like they just, who knows if they've got a backup plan already in place, but they were telling the public, like, you're right. Like, I believed them. I think it was more of a hopeful thing, because I think we want this to happen. But like, they were like, we are going to play this. We're going to play this regular season. And another thing that you have to strongly consider is we're obviously at this point right now past the peak of coronavirus, and we're all in Massachusetts, where Massachusetts got hit, I believe, is the third heaviest hit in the nation. So we saw a lot of COVID up here. Now, there's a possibility and there's a real concern that this thing is going to have a resurgence in the fall. You know when the football season is? It's in the fall. So if we've got a resurgence happening and these players aren't in a bubble, aren't in a city like the NBA plans on doing, well, then there's a very real possibility that a lot of these players, if they are just playing a regular season like they planned on regularly with no bubble, a lot of those players probably are going to contract COVID and they're going to bring it home to their families. After this news today, and after you really sit down and think about it, guys, I don't think the season's going to happen if they don't do something like what the NBA is doing. And even from another sports perspective, I'm even questioning the NHL now. The NHL plans on coming back too. They're not doing a bubble. It's like, at least I don't think so. Maybe I'm missing that. But like, you have to do the bubble, or I don't know how you're going to do the season. It's not going to be gone by September. As much as we want it to be gone, it's not going to be gone.
Big bubble.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a massive ass bubble.
Every sport is going to have to come up with an alternative plan. I don't think any sport that thinks they can just come back, things business as usual, it's not going to work. You see the NBA going their route. Baseball has a lot of issues right now. The NFL is going to have to think about some things, and then the NHL as well. Like, nothing's going to be regular, at least for this upcoming seasons.
This isn't where I talk baseball, but it kind of relates. Roger Goodell has somehow managed to become the second least likable commissioner of the four major sports, because Rob Manfred has surpassed him big time. That guy stinks.
Looking real bad for baseball right now.
Looking real bad. So yeah, NFL season not going to be great. Not looking great if you're not going to adapt to that bubble format that the NBA is doing.